Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Hey, people.
Sorry.
Yeah, shut up.
I was talking about it.
So, the name of my speech is called Face It. Drugs. Yes, I said drugs in a place of learning, and I'm not getting called off the stage. I don't understand their purpose, nor the reason why they're so popular amongst teenagers and young adults. I do not get why it is so amazingly fun to get high or drunk on the weekends with your friends. I don't understand how it is fun to get wasted, have no self-control, and puke nonstop. Maybe someone in this room could explain it to me. I don't really think about anyone here, but in the auditorium, there were examples. Anywho, explain to me the use of drugs or alcohol, because I do not understand how people can be so stupid as to damage their own bodies because they are bored or their life absolutely sucks. Explain to me the need to get high. Is it that much of a rush? Do you really need drugs to get your life together? As teenagers, many of us have dwindled in such areas and spent countless nights with our buddies smoking pot or drinking alcohol, especially at those all-night raves. Is that really fun to you? Is it that much of a good time? When is it enough? Can't you just have fun doing stupid things that aren't drugs, like making funny videos or going to Buffalo Wild Wings and seeing how many wings you can shove in your mouth? Why not getting a natural high? The kind when you do something you really love, or hanging out with your friends. And you know, even as I'm saying this, I'm pondering why it's called getting high. Because to me, the more you get high is the more you get low. Have any of you in your psych classes ever heard of the man who used so much LSD he thought he was a glass of orange juice?
I remember this.
Pretty funny, right? He's always afraid he's going to be spilled or drunk. But when you really think about it, it's quite depressing that his life ended up in such a way. I definitely know I would not want to end up thinking I was a cup of Starbucks. Luckily, LSD is not used as much as it was back in the 60s. But still, the most popular drugs today are pot or prescription drugs, which are starting to pick up speed. Oddly enough, statistics say that only 17% of high schoolers smoke weed. But since I go to a high school, I find these statistics very hard to believe, as it seems the percentage should be a lot higher. Besides, who knows if the people are actually telling the truth on these surveys. If I believe in higher rates, why do so many teens smoke pot? Experts say it is an escape from all pressures of life. And while I do believe that, I also believe it is facing the pressure head-on by falling into it. I'm pretty sure that you've all heard about peer pressure in many a boring way before, as we all have. But unfortunately, it's true, because so many teens do drugs just because their friends are. And why do their friends? Maybe they are bored, or maybe they have a hard home life. The situation always depends. Bringing me to my next topic. Excuses. If there is one thing I cannot stand, it is an excuse for doing drugs. Or it is an excuse especially for doing drugs. Or I should more accurately say, the self-justification for doing drugs. At this school, it is probably because they are bored, but it also could be because their home life sucks, so they do drugs because they believe that life is stupid. Life is a waste of time, so they keep filling their emptiness by drinking, smoking, or taking prescription drugs. Well, I'm here to say that life isn't a waste of time. Not your life, not my life, no one's. Life is beautiful, you just have to look hard to find it. It may be you abused because you're abused, or your parents got divorced and you're angry, or you were raped and you feel that there's nothing else you could do, nothing else you should do. And to those of you, I am sorry. I am sorry your father beats you. I am sorry your parents got divorced, and I am sorry your body was forcibly taken advantage of by someone else's desire. I am sorry, but it's no excuse. You know why it's no excuse? It's no excuse because everyone can make something out of nothing. I honestly believe that because I have seen it done so many times before. Someone close to me once did so many drugs, they had to go to the mental health board to get better. Every day was a struggle for them. But I can finally say they are doing better. They are doing better because someone finally believed in them and what they were doing and told them to stop it. In my lifetime, I have heard so many excuses, worthless excuses. Once I was at this get-together and a lot of college goers happened to be there. And one of the girls I knew was talking to another girl I knew and was trying to justify why she used weed and other drugs to get by. This is word for word what she said. I only smoke because, you know, I have so many things going for me, like college internships and loans I have to take care of. And the friend says sympathetically, yeah, I understand, that's a good reason. And I remember sitting there and thinking, that's a good reason? And apparently I wasn't thinking to myself because the two girls turned around and looked at me. What did you say? So naturally, I responded. I said, that's a good reason? Because you are stressed from college pressure? What kind of an excuse is that? The girls glared at me, and the one who was talking asked, well, what do you know? I bet you, when you are my age, you'll be doing the exact same thing. And at that point, I wanted to punch her in the face because she assumed I would be like her. She assumed I would fall into the path that the teenage world has laid down for me. But she doesn't realize that when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. So I said, no, I know I will not. And do you want to know why? It's because I refuse to sink that low. I refuse to give up all of my hard work to do drugs. Do not think I would do such a thing. I have worked too damn hard to go under. I will not do drugs because I have the willpower and strength I need. But when I look at you, I see that it's all gone. And I see that there's only a shred left because that mere shred is trying to convince a 15-year-old to do drugs. Now let me tell you something about this conversation. That last part where I went on a huge rant is a lie. Those are all the things I thought to say afterward. The night of the get-together, I just glared at her and walked away because I did not want to deal with her type, because she is a type that would only bring you down with her. There is never an excuse for drugs or alcohol. At this point in my speech, you probably think that I hate people who drink or smoke, but in all honesty, I don't. I hate that they do things because they feel they have to or they need to. I hate that they are screwing up their lives. And they're not only screwing up their lives because they're screwing up the lives of those around them as well. I watched as my friend got high and drunk off her ass, and people would take advantage of her. They would play cruel jokes on her and write the F word on her forehead. I watched as she verbally abused her sister, and soon in a couple of years, you would think that her sister would go down the same path. She tore apart her family. I one time walked in on her mother, bawling her eyes out, because she could not understand how her daughter ended up in such a way, and what could she possibly do to save her. If you're wondering about her sister, she ended up in a massive depression that went on for 2 years. She wanted to die every day for 2 years because of what her sister did to her because of drugs. And as much as I intervened, as much as I tried to get her away from drugs, as much as I tried to get her to shut up, and as much as I tried to help her sister, this went on for years. I can finally say that, at least for the sister, she is finally doing better. How? I have no idea. But she is happy, and that's good enough for me. Unfortunately for my friend, the battle still continues. So now do you all understand why I hate drugs? Do you see that if you do drugs, you only ruin your lives, your life, and the lives of those around you? I am sorry I was mean, but I think so many high schoolers needed to hear that. I hope I provided you with a wake-up call. I hope you realize the error of your ways and will maybe want to change after my speech. Remember, you can change your life for the better. It starts with just one step in the right direction, the drug-free kind.